else has decided to turn up.
Anyway, how many of you guys do this, that you just, you know, spend time on Google Maps looking at really weird places?
Rarely, actually. But I mean, I've heard of some of those you mentioned, like Svalbard, but I don't remember where.
I spend like way too much time, especially if I'm bored at work or something. Then I can spend like hours looking at places on Google Maps. But it's never like I'm not interested in looking at some big cities like New York or something like that. I'm always looking at these weird small islands in the middle of nowhere.
Okay then. Hello and welcome to Dark Heresy Suicide Cell, Dark Heresy Burning System Suicide Cell, Act 2, Session 3, Take 4. I'm your host and GM, Deadlights. Joined with me is Gray.
Hello. Playing
Seb.
Tingo Simulator.
I also have Seb,
Hey.
who's playing Julian, and I have Rachel, who may or may not be here, because I don't know if she actually posted she was back. I don't think she's here. I think she's stuck. So yeah, last time, stuff happened. You went to the system of...
Heresy?
Heresy, yes. You went to Heros 4, I believe? Is that the right one? I know you went to the mining planet.
Yeah, exactly. I would have to look it up as well, so...
You landed. You thought it was a bit suspicious that no one came to check you out, and after doing some investigation, you realised, oh no, it's Heres 5 is the mining world, Heres 4 is the primary. But anyway, after doing some investigation, you realised that everyone in the that was in the organisation you have named the Unseen Hand has disappeared. Because they went to Mine 7B, which is a mine that seems to be producing some unknown warp-related crystals. These crystals seem to be of warp nature. If I've already said that. Yeah, no, I already said that. Sorry, my brain is really scattered today. I'm not feeling 100%.
Yeah.
You should stop doing methamphetamine before your GM, dude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my brain has completely gone to mush. But yeah, these crystals seem to send people insane. The mine has been quiet for about 2 months, with the Unseen Hand going there last month and not returning. You have arrived outside the mine. I don't remember how big of an operation I said this was.
You didn't.
I didn't. Okay. There is approximately the marshal, who has also arrived with you, with his I'm gonna say 4 men, and his doctor, which is an old man who may or may not be a doctor. He's just an old person with a bag. He goes, well, this is Mine 7B. I'm not doing my Texan accents because apparently I can't.
It's probably better if you don't.
But
So
yeah.
I was just thinking that should we give like the other guys a couple of minutes, or are we done waiting? Or who would we actually be waiting for, actually?
Rachel and... I was thinking Mittens, but knowing Mittens, it's no use waiting for him.
Yeah.
Ah, Rachel's back.
Welcome back, Rachel. We have started. I completely forgot to give Null Rods the suicide cell roll.
Oops.
That might be a bit.
That might explain why he's not here. Well, his list is offline.
Yeah, he's offline. He's not even like awake or something.
I mean, he might just be invisible, but...
Yeah, true.
But yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to wait around forever because
Yeah, no. I was just unsure of who we are actually waiting for.
I don't think we'll see Serene much more until he changes his job.
Oh, yeah, true.
So.
What about Harrison? Isn't he supposed to be here?
He has tapped out for exam month, the next few months for exams.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, instead of like turning up for like 2 or 3 sessions and then having to bow out, he's decided to bow out at the starts. And so yeah, the marshal goes, yeah, this 7B, I think there's meant to be a population of 300, probably 250. 2 to 300, 2 to 300.
And does it look like a ghost town?
It does. Most of the habitation is actually underground because it's far safer, because it doesn't get covered in acid rain.
One thing I realized, could we probably find a priest first? After all, we know that the that warded objects or wards somewhat help against the whatever.
Yep, so rewinding a little. Pardon me as I burp. Back in the main town, yeah, you can find a priest. It's a young... he's not that young, he's like middle-aged, and he looks kind of scarred. He's got like 3 nasty scars across his lower face that look like they're from claws.
Oh. Well, yeah.
He looks at the group entering and goes, it makes the sign of Nicola. Greetings, children. I do not recognize you.
I just return the sign of Sequila, but stay back myself because I know I'm not really welcome in temples of the Emperor, being a mutant and such.
He waits for someone to step up or talk.
Well, what? I wasn't there. I have no idea.
I suggest that we go find a priest, or because we found out the other time that holy wards somewhat help against this, or help contain this warp-tainted crystal.
Sounds like a splendid idea, but I'm fairly certain that I would catch fire if I would set my foot on inside one of those temple things.
Yeah. But
the prospect is about equally tempting as going into a precinct house of the Adeptus Arbites.
Well, you at least don't look the part on first glance. Unlike
Perhaps, but I wish you the best of luck in acquiring the services of the priest in your little venture.
You are in this mess as much as we are.
Okay, then apparently Grey goes on his own.
Yeah.
He gives you a very hard judgmental look. It's like, mutants don't come here. Mutants don't come to this planet. Well, actually, no, that's a complete lie. He gives you a long, hard look, and goes, "Usually your kind avoid my kind, even the more pious ones. What is it I can do for you?"
I'm having a hard time explaining it. We believe that one of your minds might have been infected with some sort of unnatural taint. This, the results of which form a crystal that drives people mad. We've seen what happens if someone keeps the stone unprotected in its house. He murdered himself, his daughter or ward or a child, and it showed all signs of madness.
He contemplates for a moment, and goes, "Well, if this was a ploy by the Crystal Truth to flesh out someone like myself, that was a very stupid one, because they could just come here and kill me. Very well. Let me go get my enlightenment tool." He goes to the back of the he goes into a back room of the chapel, comes out, and he's carrying a lasgun, and he's wearing what appears to be Imperial Guard issue flak armor. It's a bit battered and kind of rough around the edges, but it's definitely like Guard issue.
We believe it is the mine 7B, which carries this taint, and that people have vanished there before.
He fishes out the little brass aquila from his clothes and taps it against his chin once or twice and says, 7B, yes, that mine has gone dark, hasn't it? Most assumed it was just some sort of incident. They happen from time to time. Mines go dark, an incident happens. Usually someone goes and sees to it, but I'm not aware somebody has, actually. Very well. He's got like the big aquila staff, sort of typical of priests. You know, a big metal stick with a aquila on top. So, like.
See, your local sheriff has. Wait, how far did we rewind the war issue? To before the sheriff met us or to after?
Probably about the time the sheriff is meeting you.
Okay.
So
yeah, your local sheriff has approached us as we set out to this mine.
Ah, the marshal. Very well. I shall travel with him. He nods and walks out. So we'll go back to the mine. Yes, it does look quite abandoned. This just appears to be a surface building, mostly for housing, loading and unloading supplies from the mine itself, and very little else. There are a number of vehicles outside that have all seemed to have been. They look pretty rusted.
They've been there for a while.
They have been there for a while. The marshal looks around, pulls out his bolt pistol. His 4 deputies are like standing there with shotguns. They're quite young. They're sort of like youngish kids who have just done this job because it's interesting and they get to hold a gun, as opposed to actually being any sort of real law dealers. The priest kind of looks over the building and goes, "This is a very bad sign."
Oh, you have no idea.
He shoots the party a glance, but doesn't say anything.
We should perhaps secure the explosives as quickly as possible.
Yes.
The marshal goes explosives.
We
Explosives? I can't say
explosives. The trader that the last person that vanished in the mine left behind a empty stash of explosives and other weaponry.
You see, whatever that is down there is quite crucial that it doesn't get out. And
Yes.
this thing should be sealed until proper experts can be called to take care of the matter.
Mm. He looks at the party and gives you a hard stare. He's like, I'll be the judge of if it needs to be sealed or not. I am the law here, after all. And
After you, my good sir, after you.
he walks towards the building. The deputies following him. The priest seems to be a much more in your favour. He doesn't seem to care about the explosives. Do any of you have like any sort of military training?
Fuck no. I have
Nothing?
lore Imperial Navy.
Yeah, then you'd probably notice that the priest is holding his gun like a soldier. Like, he's doing the proper thing, whereas the deputies are a bunch of idiots. The priest looked like he's actually a professional, as opposed to...
Look, father, I think there's a certain amount of things that the local constabulary is not privy to. For example, the exact nature of the threat. It is a form of, in your parley, a moral threat that needs to be contained. Even if it is, I point casually at the deputy and the sheriff and his deputies with some regrettable loss of life, then so be it.
He gives you a hard look and goes, I understand such concepts. I will try and save who I can, but if they cannot be saved, they cannot be saved. If it is truly as bad as you imply it to be, then I imagine, even if it's a fraction of it, it's bad as
it is actually much worse. I chuckle slightly and light a new cigarette.
Yeah, he nods and goes, I imagine the deputy will do the right thing and seal the place up. Or we're all dead, so that's also an option. A regrettable one, but an option nonetheless.
Yes. Yeah. Let's just follow the deputy and hope we can prevent the marshal and hope we can prevent him from getting himself killed.
Yeah, and the marshal's like, see souls, what are you on about? What is this nonsense? And there's no sea on this planet, unless you count the acidic sea on the pole, which no one really goes to because it's a bloody nightmare. Okay. Shrug. Walks in. So yeah. You enter through one of the loading bays, there is...
I wait for a moment and see if there's endless blood-curdling screams coming from in there.
No, there is only the one other one.
One scream happened.
Well, the marshal and his deputies enter the loading bay and start making their way inside. There's no blood-curdling streams, so I assume you follow.
Quite, yes, yes.
The inside looks abandoned, but not, like, too badly battered. There's the odd sign of gunfire, or blast fire. Maybe the old shotgun shell, a few bloodstains, but it's not like heavy engagements.
Does it look like everybody just went apeshit and was shooting in all directions, or are there some kind of lines of battle?
Yeah, it looks a bit like lines of battle, but it's like a very small skirmish. like 6 people, sort of skirmish.
Okay.
Like the trader and his friends kind of skirmish.
No. At the armory, you'd think there's probably about 20 people in that group.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't seem to be that... Like, the stains look very old. Like, 2 months old. So.
And the trader disappeared like a week ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm? Yeah.
These stains look more like... Yeah, these stains are older than a week. They look more like the time when the mine first went dark. Ish. So yeah. There's a few areas in the top surface area. There's the deep, there's some storage upstairs, up on the surface. There is the main surface elevator down. There is a small admin section.
I head over to the small admin section, pulling my bolt pistol out from the holster as I do so.
And there's also a small mechanicus section.
Oh.
So yeah, you approach. Like, it's more of a. When I say small mechanicus, it's more like emergency power.
Yeah, well, but I'm not like a tech priest. I have no access or no death wish, so I'm not gonna go into the mechanicus shrine. It is
that's
off
right.
limits.
Yeah, there is no power, as far as you can tell. None of the lights are on. There's There's might be some very small amounts of power, but it's nowhere near enough to even power emergency lights. Like, every now and again you get a spark, but nothing more. Eventually, you reach the admin area, and you see that somebody has made a barricade in front of the main admin room.
Okay.
In front of the main what room?
It's main office.
Main office. Okay.
Does it sound like there's anyone still in there? Anyone living?
Give me an awareness test. Plus 10. It is hearing based, so
Yeah, I don't have enhanced senses yet.
that's fine.
So
Julian's too busy.
if there's anything,
Julian's too busy, like, doing his hair in the mirror or something. But no, the other two, you do hear, what Julian dismisses as just like a tin falling off a shelf. Both Flaya and Zergo, you know that's the sound of someone in there. Tins don't just magically fall off the shelf. You're too far in the building for there to be a wind. This barricade's pretty... It's not solid, but it's pretty high. So any sort of draft is not getting past it easy. You think there might be someone in?
I was anyway gonna do the following. I take one of my smoke grenades and throw it inside. One way to find out.
You throw it inside, there's a muffled... then you hear several things falling over.
Yeah, well, nobody can stay inside. It's a smoke grenade. If you like to breathe, or if you don't have a gas mask or something similar, you're going to want to come out.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
no, there
confined
is...
space with smoke.
Yeah, no, there is very much a lot of coughing, and you hear something bunk against the barricade, and, like, trying to pull it down from the other side.
I stand there smoking a cigarette and wait with my bolt pistol in hand.
After a few moments, the top of the barricade, or the part of the barricade collapses. It wasn't particularly well made, and you see a clerk scrambling out of the smoke.
Well, hello there. No hasty movements now. Wouldn't want to have a nasty accident.
Outsiders. Yes, more outsiders.
How perceptive of you.
His clothes look filthy. They are caked in dirt. His skin does not look very pleasant. He's got the rebreathing tube that you've seen a lot of the populace have, but it is it looks like the surgical implant to it is starting to become infected, or at least swollen. Um, and he looks up at you. Oh, hello.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how crazy are you?
Crazy? What do you mean crazy? His head's not like. He's kind of on all fours in a weird angle, like half kneeling, half slouched, and his head's tilted slightly. His eyes are bug wide, they're like massive.
Oh, so yes. And what happened here?
Everyone went insane. They started killing each other and cutting each other. They dragged the tech priests off, kicking and screaming. And yes, they dragged them. Why did they drag them? They dragged him away. Yes. But they didn't drag me. No. I was smart. I hid. Yes.
I see. And how long have you been hiding up here?
Days, weeks, months, years, centuries, a millennia.
Okay, that one's crazy too. Who was it that dragged the tech priest away?
Workers. They had these weird charms. They were black and green. They looked wavy but whole.
Did you get any of these charms yourself?
No. They kept them close, tied them to themselves, embedded them into themselves. Yes. He's like when he's talking, like
mercy.
when he's not talking, he's quite still. But when he's talking, he's like his hands are like doing all sorts of weird movements and like sliding over himself. And he's twitching as well. Like he twitches when he talks, but not when he's not talking. God, I'm scaring myself at how crazy this person is.
We have a person that can assist you outside.
Oh?
Yes.
He's trying to do the owl thing where his head's gone 45 like 90 degrees now.
But if he starts like walking out and goes in front of me, I shoot him in the back of the head with my bolt pistol and execute him.
Like yeah, if you gesture for him to go outside, he's like oh
Yeah.
Oh. He kind of like half walks, half like walks on all fours, and then you just get shot in the back of the head and just.
The Emperor absolves you of your sins. Kablam.
There is a bit of shouting, as somebody's heard a gunshot, like the deputy and his marshals. They were busy checking out the cargo elevator. The priest peers around the corner, sees the body, and steps slowly around the corner. Laskin raise. Hostiles?
No. Then I just go inside and have a look at his
Just the man.
nest.
You note that the priest, when he's outside, actually wears a gas mask, like a full guardsman issue gas mask. Unlike most of the other people. But yeah. Yeah, you walk inside. This was once upon a time the main office, and it probably never looked amazing, but it was probably at least tidy. Now it is the den of someone who's lived here for like a good long time.
Okay.
It doesn't smell particularly nice.
Well, what I'm actually looking for is the dig documentation. Probably among the latest reports that came in would be the location of the cache of glowy, nasty crystal things, and this is what I'm basically looking for.
There was a cogitator bank. It is then turned into a shrine. You have to like brush off candles and weird knickknacks, some rat bones.
Oh joy!
Yeah. I basically wave the priest over, show him this makeshift shrine to whatever. It doesn't look like anything faithful Imperial citizens should be worshipping, right?
Mm. But yeah, you easily enough bring up. If you give it any sort of power, it pops back into life. Scrolling through, dig documents. They apparently had 3 shipments. They haven't been operating very long, and they had 3 total shipments that should have been done. First shipment was moved out just before the start of the war. Second shipment was dug up, but then never collected or moved to the main location. Third shipment never seemed to was in the process of being dug. Before the line went
So
dark.
number 2 would be the thing we are looking for.
Yeah.
Number two cargo seems to still be on site in lower storage, from what you can gather.
Lower storage.
Mhm.
Is there like a overview map where some different areas are?
You can bring up a map. The upper surface has auxiliary power, which mostly has the cargo lift. There is also There's also a personnel lift, but that one is powered off the main power, not auxiliary. Then there's the dig site down. It goes to residential, upper storage, lower storage, utilities, dig site, with the various areas attached off those.
Yeah. So the cargo of warpstone, I just call it warpstone for now.
Yeah, I guess one name is good as the other, I mean.
Yeah, is most likely still in the deep storage, and the trader or whatever he has become meanwhile is probably also there.
Unless these crazies have, distributed the stuff amongst themselves for the greater good, or...
That is what the clerk said about the miners. So we probably are facing worse than humans down there. Or the lower, very lower levels on the dig side itself. Probably
I
haunted by
don't
worse
think
than
our
humans.
priorities have shifted at all. Our first priority is to find all the
Is still to
explosives.
find the explosives and seal up this mine, yes.
I check in the administrative logs if there are any, explosive caches on site.
Yes, there is. In mining tools on the far side of residential, there is auxiliary mining supplies. In there is a supply of superchargers.
I think
Which
we
are
should
not
go
as-
there.
Yeah, they're not as effective as depth packs, but they're good for carving rock. So,
That's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Is there any other way in or out except the main elevator?
as I said, there is the cargo elevator, which can be powered from the surface. There is also the personnel elevator, which
Which is
cannot be
from
powered.
below.
Yeah, it's powered from below. There are maintenance ladders in both elevator shafts, but it is quite a way down.
No, but I was thinking we could just blow the elevator shafts.
Oh yeah, no. They're the only 2 ways up or down.
Okay.
Yes, that's also a way to deal with it. But I'm not quite sure if that will entirely work. I mean,
Why wouldn't it?
they they are basically drilled in the solid rock, right?
What do you mean?
Is it- Hmm?
What's drilled in the solid rock? The elevator?
The elevator shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure if we can fill them up far enough, so that even with climbing equipment or whatever, they are fully blocked.
Oh, you're not thinking right. We are not blowing the shaft from below, you blow it from above. So
Yeah.
that whatever...
Rubble falls in.
Yes. And the elevator becomes ruined, so it's not designed to be a permanent solution, just
Yeah.
making it hard enough for anyone else coming this way to do it.
There is no... You can't think of a permanent solution because you are, like, 4 people on a planet.
Yeah.
So a temporary solution is the best you can do.
Mhm.
The better... The more damage you can do, the better, but...
Yeah.
So, residential it is.
Mhm.
There's a sudden hum as the power comes back on.
No. They're gonna get us all killed.
It's only... well, when I say power, it's the auxiliary power. So,
Mhm.
it's the hum of a red glow globe coming on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still, we should probably have a look at the cargo lift, if something's coming up from there.
Fair enough.
I mean, we are not going to destroy the entire upper level yet.
You have no way to do so. You have no explosives.
Yeah. Even if we wanted to. So, whatever's caused this power surge, we should probably find out what caused this power surge. Or what...
It
Yeah.
was most likely the deputies powering the systems online again.
If you call out,
Mhm.
you will hear the deputies. Oh, actually, you hear somebody shout, "Power's back on!
Okay.
Auxiliary power's back on."
Okay.
So, do you go to the cargo lift?
Do we need to take this one? Where was the residential area? Is it on the same level or is it one below? Or
You'd have to go down the elevator to get to residential.
Okay.
right? Okay.
The only stuff on the surface is what needs to be on the surface. Because
Okay.
the more stuff up here, the more stuff is affected by acid rain.
Yeah.
So, they build these mines completely underground for the purpose of it's less money in the long term.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're taking the slow elevator to hell.
I mean, you can as well climb.
Sure, yes, I'm certain somebody could climb, but it's not me.
I guess so. So yeah, let's take the cargo lift.
Yep, you go to the cargo lift. The 4 deputies and the marshal are there. The doctor is there. The priest follows you, as well as Jenny is also following your squad. Your little group. You all get on the elevator, and it starts to clatter down. You notice that the elevator isn't... There's a few blood stains. Not much. It's like maybe somebody got punched on here, possibly. But there's not really much on here.
Yeah.
It clatters down.
I mean, at this point, we are more surprised if there's no blood.
There's the thing. There is a little blood, but it seems more like the sort of blood you'd see after a brawl, as opposed to gunfights.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe someone voiced concern with their leader.
So the elevator clatters down. Doors slide open. You are now on the resident area. The doors open to a large hall. You can see signs of gunfire here. a gunfight here. But again, it's skirmishes. They're not like full-out battle lines.
Said there aren't any corpses around, right?
Not that you can see.
Not that we can
Looking round, you see there's definitely blood here. The occasional blood pool, but whatever was lying in these pools, they've been dragged off deeper into the mine or into residence. But yeah, you're currently in sort of. If you've ever played Fallout, you've got that. Oh, you've always got that massive hall in Fallout near the entrance where you start on the upper catwalk and you can see down, and there's like a not marketplace, mess hall and that sort of stuff. It's like kind of like that. Just completely rip off Fallout now.
Well, I'm not in a terrible hurry, so I'm just gonna like slowly make my way towards where I suspect that the explosives would be.
That's on the far side of residential. So you start making your way through residential. A lot of the place is shot up, like small skirmishes everywhere. Not really battle lines. There's the occasional barricade to rooms, but they've been teared down, doors are smashed. No bodies. There's almost no, like, dead material on the floor at all. Aside from blood, and maybe the occasional, like, small bit of body, like where somebody's brain's been blown out and it's just matter. There's not really much. There's no, like, severed limbs, there's no... nothing like that.
Where are all the corpses? Where are all the corpses?
Cannibals, maybe?
If we would only be so lucky.
There is a lot of sprawling on the wall, you do notice. A lot of it is they're watching us, or their eyes, or something along those lines. And equally crazy, if you can decipher them.
Yeah.
Nothing seems... every now and again, there is like a section of wall which is completely clear of any graffiti or damage, and somebody has painstakingly drawn one of those crystals. When they have drawn them, this particular crystal is always the same, pretty much the same size. It's about 4 foot by 8 foot. 4 foot wide, 8 foot tall.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Huge cache of warpstone.
A sail on some rocks in order to shut it off. What do you mean by that?
Could you repeat that, please?
No, it was what Rochelle was writing.
Yeah. I mean, you potentially could, but you need to properly seal this off, and the elevator can easily take 2 chimeras. So you need to be there for quite a while, trying to rip bits of rock off.
And that means using psychic powers for a long time in a place that is, well, full of fun stuff.
Yeah. That is probably not the best idea.
This area... actually, yeah, I mean, aside from the fact this place is incredibly creepy, it does feel a bit... There's something definitely off about it, as apart from, the missing bodies, and... You do get the feeling you're being watched, despite the fact you don't see anyone. And you also know a lot of all the cameras are smashed. Any sort of pitch recorders are smashed, you see.
Yeah, and supposedly any reflective surfaces are as well.
You don't really see that much reflective surfaces. I mean, this is kind of gringy, dirty mine location.
Dude, I take my pict recorder and check if it catches something, but if the cameras are smashed, it has to be a reason why.
You pull out your pic recorder, and you look through it. For a brief moment, you see the shadows of humanoids, and it seems like they flee from the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rach, you feel like you can definitely feel the crystal's presence here. Even from so far away, you can feel where they are in deeper storage. And it is unnerving. You also feel there are other presences here. The warp itself feels not closer, but easier to access.
I document most of these scramblings and what we find with the camera.
Mm.
I try to do at least this part of my job. If we are supposed to hand this over to another inquisitorial team at some other point in time, they might appreciate getting a bit more information.
What is actually good at large exorcisms.
Somebody who's actually competent in this field.
Someone who isn't a 4 people, like having to babysit a priest and 4 local guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you're traveling down, you pass a chapel. And the doors appear to be completely defiled. Like, somebody has worked really, really hard to smash the doors to little, like any sort of insignia of the Inquilla to little pieces. Do you wish to go in?
You're using the term wish with a very interesting context, but sure, we can go in.
Yeah.
I know you can go in. I mean, you could just shoot yourself and end it now.
Exactly. But
Let's have a look in there.
can a small peek really hurt?
Remember the last small peek into a master bedroom? The arbitrator was throwing up for 5 minutes after.
Yes,
He wasn't the only one.
There is that, isn't there?
Yeah, let's have a look into this chapel.
So you open the chapel doors, and inside you see the first sign. You actually notice one of the things you notice is a lot of the blood trails go here. As you open the doors, you see why there is a pile of bodies in the middle of the room. Any sort of imperial insignia has been smashed, and any sort of furniture in the room has been smashed and thrown to the side. But in the center of the room, there are what you assume is a pile of bodies, because something's changed about them. The bodies seem to form some sort of large chrysalid, some sort of large cocoon. The cocoon is now smashed open.
Oh, fuck.
Well, by the warp.
Yeah.
I think I forgot to sign some really important papers up on the surface. If you don't mind, I need to go and take care of a couple of things, I think.
What do we do with that? So,
Well, I take a few pictures of it.
Yeah. I will try moving closer and basically if I see if anything's still moving in there.
No, it seems to be completely dead. Whatever was in it has hatched.
Yay, it's hatched, so it's a hungry little baby fucking monster running around. Who's the... You know what? Actually, this raises one question. Who's the proud mummy?
Yes. It is basically getting worse on every turn.
And if there is a proud little mummy, there also needs to be a proud little daddy.
I'm so glad I'm creeping you guys out this much.
Yeah.
Because I'm creeping myself out.
Yeah. Can I use my trait Morticator to investigate the bodies?
You may. You can give me a roll.
Hmm. Can I roll it off perception rather than intelligence?
You may for this case, because you are observing them as opposed to medically examining them.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
No idea.
No. I mean, there's not really much of a body to there's not much of bodies to examine.
Oh.
They've kind of, like, you can see the shapes of like limbs and on the occasion faces in the goo, but a lot of it has just been,
Liquefied.
yeah, not liquefied and then absorbed.
Oh.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Like it was feeding whatever was in this chrysalid.
Okay.
Is that the right term? I don't.
Yeah, that is a fitting term.
Whatever was in this chrysalid. Looking at it, you suspect the creature inside was maybe 7 or 8 foot tall
Mm-hmm.
and quite bulky.
Oh, fun.
Oh joy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now that I've
Yeah.
traumatized you even more, what do you want to do now?
Let's return to finding the explosives.
We could see, well, if the priest has had some sort of last line of defense in here, we should maybe have a look if he's documented something. I'm gonna stay outside and keep watch. You could maybe have a look.
There is indeed a small priest's chapel. The priest with you, has started saying a prayer. The other 6 people that you brought with you are all like freaking out. They're being quiet for the moment, but the marshal, the marshal seems to be a bit more level-headed. He's at least keeping his cool. His deputies are like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
Stay outside and guard the businessman.
The doctor is kind of like just groaning internally. And the priest has started saying a prayer. He might be going to burn the chrysalid body.
Yes, that is
I
entirely
don't-
reasonable.
With my picked capture device, so I can.
Yeah, like he's taking a good minute or 2 to do so. So
Yeah.
if you want to record it, he seems to be the smartest of the bunch.
Again, you're using the term "if I want to" in a very loose manner. I mean, I don't really want to, but I feel it's something I should do.
Yes.
As a
Yeah.
member of His Most Holy Inquisition and yadi ladi dadi.
Yeah. You said there was some sort of side chapel?
Yeah, more of a back room for the priest. They're quite common, you know.
Let's have a look in there.
Yep, you have a look in there. You see the priest has the priest is in his chair. He's got like a small desk and a small bed. He's in the chair of the desk, and he has crammed just like a ridiculous number of tablets down his throat. You don't even think they're all tablets. Like, you can see dozens of bottles of pills on the floor of various things, and he's just like overdosed ridiculously on them.
Okay.
His
Yeah.
body is actually still there, and it looks like 1 to 2 months old.
Oh man,
Like
the
what?
smell. Fuck.
Oh yeah, this place reeks.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, of course.
But like, I thought you would have gotten that to the fact that there's a mound of chrysalid bodies outside.
Yeah. I actually want to have a closer look at the door. Is this is this door like still having some sort of seal or ward on it, or any holy symbol of some description?
It seems like it didn't really have any sort of holy symbol on it before,
Hmm?
so it wasn't attacks.
Okay.
When you open the room, you do actually see, like, there are some small insignia in here.
Hmm.
The priest's body's got a small, like, aquila on
Yeah.
a metal chain, a few aquillas here and there, some holy religious texts, etc., etc.
Okay. Are there like purity seals or something we could take away from this?
Not really. There's not that
Okay.
sort of priest. There is a journal on the desk, though. There seems to be a journal. There's a book of some
Okay.
sort, like open with handwriting stuff.
I will snatch that one.
You should, Gray, move your mic a bit back, just a bit.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Better? Better?
Yeah, much.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. Yeah, I will snatch that journal.
Mhm.
And is it in low Gothic?
It is indeed in low Gothic.
Then I will... Actually, I start at the end with the last entries. Have a look through it.
Last entry is about last 3 pages of. It's just basically he's watching, like they're watching.
Hmm?
So you skip through that because that's completely irrelevant. Because you're
Yeah.
pretty sure they are watching from what you've already seen.
Hmm?
The last journal of interest is about 2 weeks after the mine went dark.
Mm-hmm.
He starts talking about how it's sketchy and quite hard to decipher because he's like erratic and he's jumping all over the place. But it seemed to describe that most of the populace have killed themselves, about 2/3.
Mm-hmm.
So about 200 people are dead, and they have been taking the bodies to smallish areas such as the chapel, not like tiny areas, but you know, places like the chapel and such, and piling them up. They haven't realised he's hiding out here, in the chapel. He's been able to peer into it to see them piling the bodies, and then the bodies. They place a number of crystals before one of them sacrifices themselves onto the pile in a sort of what you think it might be a ritualistic manner.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it. Then he describes there is a natural light. It burns his eyes greatly, and he can barely see anymore. He's struggling to write this, which makes
Okay.
sense because this is really like, you know, wiggly lines sort of thing.
Yeah. I will relay the entire thing to Flavia, of course.
Mhm.
Can you make sense of this nonsense?
Flavia, with your warpy knowledge, you suspect that is definitely something warp related. You're not sure what, because the guy's describing it from a point of view of a complete nutball who's never witnessed psychic powers before in his life. But you can make a pretty educated guess that it's warp related.
Could it be something a bit different? Maybe, well, if you had used Craster make see no invasion, what if this is how they invade?
That's entirely possible.
They use the power of the warp and then they create these things that grow them on here.
Possible.
It's entirely possible. Flicking through the diary, you can see that this started. How far back are you willing to go?
How much time do we have?
All the time
we
in
aren't,
mind.
we aren't in a hurry.
We're not in a hurry, so yeah. I'll probably go through the entire thing.
It starts off with him. This journal. He starts off when he arrives here, which is just after it's established.
Mm-hmm.
It describes how he's like transferred from another mine, etc., etc. You know, follow the flock, whatever.
Yeah.
And it starts off like he comments about unnaturally high amount of violent crimes, assaults, not necessarily murders, but like assaults, domestic abuse, that sort of thing.
When does it start with it? Right after he's transferred, or?
Yeah, maybe like a week after he's transferred here,
Mhm.
a week or two. He also talks about how the dig site was built very, very quickly. Usually, you come here and you've got like half the facilities not online.
Mhm.
Like he says, it's a miracle they've managed to get a dig site with working water within the first week.
Yeah. No, go on.
Yeah, no. So it seems like whoever set this mine up set it very quickly.
Mhm.
And then he starts coming in like, I've seen the shipments and they look so unusual and so unnatural. And like, it suddenly reaches. Like he seems fine. His writing seems fine, like a normal priest, dealing with people's issues. But he's definitely commenting on the high number of events going on. He tries to offers a lot of new miners, a lot of off-worlders who aren't used to being trapped in the ground, not natives. The natives seem to be a bit more used to being underground all their lives.
Yeah.
Whereas he just writes off as off-worlders or something like that. His writing gets really it starts to get much more disjointed when they discover something. About the time of the second shipment, is meant to be lifted up, they discover a large crystal. Now, all the crystals before seem to have been about the 1 to 2 inch one you found. Those two. This large crystal is a 4 foot by 8 foot, you think?
No.
Like massive. He describes it as taller than a man.
Yeah.
And wider than the shoulders of an ogre. I believe it is his terms. But after that's discovered, things go downhill really rapidly. He becomes much more erratic. There's a lot more murders, a lot more suicides, violent crimes break out, security collapses, cults form, dedicated to the crystals, and then it obviously goes downhill and he gets killed. Or he commits suicide by taking all the pills.
Well,
Sounds like a delightful little party. Glad to have missed it.
yeah. So, okay.
But yeah, you don't think he was actually directly
He
exposed to
was
the crystal?
not directly involved in it because he didn't go down to the mine. He was probably exposed to pieces that the miners brought up, but not long enough to go really full circle.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue our search for explosives.
I second that one. We can't get out of here fast enough.
Once you're sort of done, the priest like pours some promethium onto the chrysalid and throws a match at it before walking out of the chapel. Goes up quite well.
Rather dramatic gesture, but a bit too late, I'm afraid, Padre.
Better late than never. Would you rather keep it here?
Oh no.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thing catches up. He closes it. As you get near the ammunition storage. Hi guys. Hi Mittens.
Hello, sleepyhead.
You're an hour late.
Good morning.
I know I was making food, I'm sorry.
I was just like betting that you were napping.
Napping? No.
Napping.
Why wouldn't you be napping?
Napping.
You seem like a person that enjoys naps.
That's serene.
Yeah.
Don't
So,
worry,
yeah.
the PCs are just in the world of nope.
Yep. I'm gonna go grab a beer. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
No worries.
Good.
I'll catch you up on missions. So they went into the mine building. After they first off they got a priest. Then they went in the mine building. They found a crazy clerk, which they shot, even though he didn't have any weapons.
Sure.
Found out
Was
there
it-
is a shipment of crystals here.
It was a mercy killing.
It was a mercy killing. He was batshit insane. Went down to Resident because they want to get the mining explosives. So they went down to Resident, and then when they were moving through Resident, they didn't find any bodies, but they did signs of fighting and death. Then they went into a chapel where they found a pile of bodies that had been turned into a chrysalid that had then hatched and buggered off.
Yeah.
A lot of no.
It's,
A lot of noob.
It's rather bugging us.
Yes.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Don't worry, Missons. I have been creeping myself out.
Well, that is an achievement.
Mostly in the fact of how good I am actually at describing a horror story on this level of like creeping people.
It requires beer.
Yeah.
Don't blame you. So yeah, as you near the munition storage, you see, you turn the corner, and the wave of rot fills your nostrils, as you see another one of these chrysalids.
Oh.
This time, it is on top of it, basically in front of the munition store, and this one hasn't hatched.
I take a picture of that one.
Mm.
Is it like semi-see-through, or what are we talking about? What kind of, is it organic, mineral-like? What's the
Organic.
consistency?
It's definitely organic.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pulsing slightly irrationally. It's not like it's got a constant heartbeat or anything. It's kind of twitching, unnerving. The sack itself is about 8 foot by 4 foot, oval shaped. There are black tendrils coming from the bottom of it into the bodies, which are mostly rotten at this point,
Oh.
and it's feeding off those.
Mm.
Those are pulsing more regularly, as they seem to be drinking from the corpses.
Okay. Does a priest have any promethium left?
He does, but he doesn't really have like a flamethrower.
Now the
Yeah.
question is, does anybody have a crack grenade?
Nope.
Nope.
We could.
I like how Knowles is like, this is just a whole lot of heresy.
Can we probably turn the promethium flasks or whatever he has into some sort of Molotov cocktail?
Well, no need for that. When in doubt, there is always the God Emperor's bolt pistol. Then I take the officer's stance and start firing into that thing.
It screeches unnaturally. Most of you have to cringe. Your ears pop at the sound. Several of the others try and
I
bring.
fire 4 times
Yeah.
in quick succession.
The priest brings up his last gun, just semi-auto burst into it as well. Most of the others either clutch their ears or try and bring their weapons up. It doesn't seem to stop. You've definitely done a lot of damage to it, but it doesn't seem to stop squirming after you fired 4 bolt shots into it.
Fuck it, I fire 3 more. Then I reload.
Yep. This causes it to screech again, this time a lot weaker. You don't need to cringe anywhere near as much. It still stands ungodly, but...
Can I borrow someone's some sort of blade and sever the tendrils?
Yeah, you can. You can borrow, the priest, like, if you ask, he's like, sure, I'm not going anywhere near it, hands you a knife.
Yeah. I'm fine with going close enough to basically cut those tendrils, but I'm not touching that with my claws. That's
Coward.
coming from you.
I am very brave.
You'd be back on the ship when you had your way.
Yes, and I'd be ordering an orbital strike on this location. Very bravely.
As
Very
sensible
bravely
as
from-
that is.
Very bravely from high orbit.
Quite, and it's a very, very concentrated but saturated orbital bombardment for about a week or so.
Yeah.
I mean, that is brave. Most people I would know would have just ordered somebody else to do it.
Exactly, I take responsibility.
But yeah, you cut the blade and it starts. There is a
No
small
one cuts the
amount.
tentacles.
Yeah, you as you start cutting it, there is definitely a small amount of acid in there, and the blade starts to blunt a bit, and like it hisses on the floor. But overall, it's this seems to have a much bigger effect on it. This causes the sack to squirm a lot more, but as you cut them, it stops. It squirming is less.
Cut open the sack and let's see what's on the inside.
Yeah. After the last tentacles off, I will try slicing open the sack
As you go to do that,
and then jump back
yeah,
as far as I can.
this is fine. As you go to cut the thing, you actually see it cuts out. It has like a spring-loaded claw. It cuts through the front of it. It's more like a single talon. It weakly like pulls itself out. This is only about 5 or 6 foot in size. Goo pours out of the thing onto the floor. You've already jumped out the way. Knife ready. It looks vaguely humanoid, but vaguely is the strongest word. It has bird-like talons for feet. It has 4 arms, 2 end in 3 claws, 2 end in spring-loaded talons on its back. Its mouth is has 4 segments that each have a massive hook on the front, as well as a number of teeth inside. It hisses and breathes unconsciously. It's definitely damaged, quite badly, as it's leaking fluids from multiple bolt shots and ripping itself from its catalyst cocoon before it's
Mature.
Yeah.
It looks like it's meant to, when it's fully developed, it's meant to have a number of armor plates on like anywhere vital, like the shoulders, the chest, the head. It's got 6 eyes, which go in a line, so it can see like most of the way around it. It can't see directly behind it, but it can see in front, to the side, and to its like 90 degrees.
Are we talking about like consistency? Is it like tyrannidy organic-y, or is it like weirdly mineralish, or something other that's like very strange?
It's definitely organic. The plating seems to be more of a mineral design. It's not tyrannid. Before you ask.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't suspect
yeah.
that it was, but like in the feeling, how it looks like it's just like sharpy clawy thingy and organic gooiness, or is it more like a weird hybrid of mineral and animal, if you understand what I mean?
Yeah, anything that looks solid looks minerally, but the rest of it looks organic-y, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So it's definitely a weird hybrid of the two. Um, you, as you look at it, you realise it's there's two big talons on its back, which can easily spring round. Like they can easily spring round in front of it. It seems to actually be made of the black and green crystal, the black and green warpy crystal, as well as it's a rock lobster.
Yay!
Yeah, you shoot it. As soon as Vincent opens fire, all 4 deputies and the marshal open fire as well, as does the priest. It staggers back, like under a wave of gunfire. One of its arms goes spiraling off. It takes another step forward before it gets just everyone else unloads into it, and it eventually collapses to the floor. But
Hold
it's
your
still
fire.
not dead.
What the f-
It's like one claw, like it's very slow, but it's like reaching forward.
Um, is there anything that looks vital enough that? Okay, no, I'm not going to stab it while Vincent is shooting, but I also level my own shotgun and open up that thing.
Yeah, no. When you stop shooting and people see that it's still like trying to reach forward, everyone just opens fire again.
Bang, 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 bang. Oh, I'm down. Gets back up. Kill it!
And yeah.
But-
After the second wave of
Dude,
gunfire,
you're all doubles.
could
This is gonna
please
be
maybe try
awesome.
to exercise that thing?
No, that is doubles, so that's psychic phenomena.
Yep.
Everyone's favourite, psychic phenomena.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bam.
And of course you did 4 damage, so totally worth it. I mean, psychic powers for damage dealing is the dumbest thing you can ever do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Mm. At least it gets knocked back into or through its cocoon.
Yeah, well,
5
what's
degrees
left
of-
of its cocoon is also like just from the misfires, because everyone's just blindly firing.
Alright.
Yeah.
I joined just to say this. Who's your psyker?
Rachel.
You're a
Rachel.
coward. You're a goddamn coward.
I take pictures of whatever that's left of it.
It's basically being shot into multiple pieces.
Yeah, but I don't know, maybe the adepts can, use Photoshop to piece it back together again.
Seriously, there needs to be trade Photoshop in 40k.
Zoom in hand.
Tra-
Zoom
trade
in
this
hand.
is- this-
No, dude, there is. It's called Trade Illustrator. It's an actual old trade skill from the first edition.
No, this isn't the first. This isn't the first time in one of my campaigns where my PC has been like, "Man, maybe trade Illustrator or trade something Photoshop."
Trade Photoshop. Yeah.
But yeah, no, you take photos of what's left of it. Bearing in mind, this was a non-mature one, which you forced to hatch.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of these down here apparently. How about we should put some haste into finding the explosives and
You can now
vacate
add,
ourselves from the premises, please.
You can add conducted a field abortion to your list of accomplishments if you so desire.
Violent field abortion that executed the baby afterwards. Ooh, how decadent.
Abortion
another day.
in 40k are
Just
hardcore,
another
man.
day in the Emperor's Most Holy Inquisition.
Oh,
Didn't you say you wanted to taste every alien at least once?
Oh no.
Not every alien, only the ones that talk, and this one did not, so I'm safe.
Take it to acidic blood, ferment it, and make some sort of absinthe. Do it. Pussy if you don't.
It is tempting, however.
Now, I do want to remind you, its claws were made of raw warp crystal.
Yeah.
There is
Exactly, we have no idea what that tastes like.
Take the claw and make Chris out of it, like a Chris knife.
It sounds delicious. Or
trophies, come on. Everyone eats trophies.
Yeah, anyways, let's have a look into the warehouse or armory or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's the reserve mining equipment.
Hmm?
You enter it. It's completely empty.
Well, fuck.
Yes.
Mhm.
I suppose
This
the-
just went from a shit show to a clusterfuck.
I suppose the trader had the same idea, and they went deeper.
Potentially.
I
You don't
mean-
know. You can't tell who cleared this out.
Hmm?
There's not really much signs of fighting here. A
Okay.
lot of the weapons are more like there's not even weapons here. It's just mining equipment sort of thing.
Hmm?
But like, really, most of it is empty.
Okay. Alas. Yeah. I doubt it's still on this level, actually.
Wait, what? This is a mining planet, you say?
Hmm?
Yes.
Explosives should be relatively abundant and cheap.
Mhm.
So what stops me from making a phone call and ordering like 10 fucking tons of TNT to this place?
Nothing.
Perfect, I go to the surface.
Well,
As you make your way back through the mine, through the residence, you hear a sound near the service elevator. It's a loud, heavy sound.
what's...
It's not necessarily breathing, but it's loud movement, like something's dragging something heavy along the floor.
And where is that? Near the elevator.
Near the elevator. You haven't quite gotten back to that entrance chamber that you started in, but it sounds like
Oh.
it's in there.
Okay. Yeah. I will tell the others to stay back and try sneaking ahead.
Okay, give me a shot for. You open the door.
Hmm?
In front of you, luckily you're jaded, so you don't need to roll
Yeah.
willpower, just seeing what's in front of these things. You see, pretty much in front of the elevator, prying open the door to it, is one of those things you just killed, except fully mature. This thing is
Oh.
8 foot tall.
Fuck.
It's
I close the door.
Nope.
Make my way back. So
Yeah.
this exit is blocked.
I didn't even finish describing it.
You didn't need to. We have aborted.
Where they open the door for like 2 seconds and just close and walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
No, just no. We're no. But I can explain no. But it looks really nope.
Okay then.
I'm sure it looks really cool, but we want none of your shit.
Cry.
Yeah. I mean, what was I supposed to do? Jump at it with my claws?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Now you're getting the hang of it.
I doubt
Be
that.
brave. Sacrifice yourself for the Emperor and me.
Yeah. The problem is, you wouldn't have gotten out there either while it's trashing around.
That is also very true.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It didn't. It took the entire squad opening fire twice to kill one of these things that was not mature.
Yeah.
Non-mature one meaning it doesn't have fully fully formed armor plating.
Yeah.
In other words, guys, let's try to be stealthy.
Yeah. Also,
Yes,
let's
absolutely.
find another way.
Julian Alexander Winterschmidt Klein the third, and my fourth name would be Stealth. Except that it's not.
Well,
Now, you can move around the rest of the mine without needing to go to an elevator.
mhm.
What about the smaller elevator?
Smaller elevator is unpowered.
So we need to go below the deeper storage to activate that, right?
Yes, to get to utilities.
Well, the problem is, how do we get further down? Are there
There's stairs.
maintenance ways?
No, there's actually stairs in
Okay.
this area. So there's only mine shafts. There's only elevators to and from the surface. But once you're in the mine complex, there's residents, and then you can access storage, both storage levels, and then
Okay.
utilities via stairs.
Well then,
Effectively, it's like an
suppose
enclosed
down
town.
is currently the only way.
And this is one of these situations where I'm rather depressed to be right. It is an invasion.
I'm not sure what that is.
An invasion. All weird hybrid xeno warpy monster things stalking in the mines. By the dozen, probably. How lovely.
Let's hope not.
Well, according to the writings of the priest, they had been doing this for, at this point, months already.
Yes.
And approximately how many corpses per chrysalid are we talking about?
That's a good question.
8?
Yeah, eight's probably a reasonable number.
So we're talking about at least 24 of these little darlings running around.
Yeah. Which is rather unfortunate.
25 actually.
Well, I'm counting it with like, it's not probably 8 exactly. Could be 8.5 there, 7.5 there.
Yeah, you're looking between 20 and 40 of these things.
Yes, exactly. Lovely.
Maybe a few more, considering the recent team. But yeah.
I've never... I love being right, but in this current climate I could have accepted being wrong.
Yes.
You would have happily been
Agreement.
wrong about this invasion.
Yeah. Anyways, let's see if we find another way.
Okay, so you move down, you move into upper storage. Looking through upper storage, there is not much here. There's some pieces of mining equipment that need repairs, mostly empty boxes. You note there's a lot of those strange containers which you found, which one of them you're carrying. These are all empty.
Perhaps we should pick one up in case we run
Yeah.
into some of these nasty crystals.
One or maybe more.
These ones are all still fully functioning, so if you transfer your crystals into a new one, they don't give you an uneasy feeling.
Yeah, but the entire mine gives us an uneasy feeling.
This is true.
So let's do it anyways, so we can safely, bring it back relatively safely.
You do spot the occasional chrysalid here and there. All of these are burst open.
Over.
I document all of this, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is fun. So far you've maybe seen a dozen in total, if you're checking various rooms as you go. Upper stories seem to have a number of these rooms. As you move your way into lower storage,
One moment, did you say they are all in formally set rooms, or
from
is
your
it
side.
just the chrysalids? Are they mainly in like the chapel was, or are they all over the place?
Some of them seem to be randomly located. Some of them seem to be like the chapel in sacked rooms. Give me a... What would this be, honestly? Give me a survival roll, Ray.
Sure. Any modifiers?
No, just give me a cyber roll. I feel like your character would be able to tell us more.
Hmm?
Just
3
because-
degrees.
Just because of your laws and trades. So where there seem to be insect rooms, seems to be a lot more effort put into them. The
Mhm.
bodies are a lot more arranged, shall we say.
So, could it be that the ones in specific rooms are the work of cultists that made an effort to desecrate those rooms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe these creatures, whatever they are, have a caste system. The ones that require more effort are higher up on the food scale.
This is also possible.
Yep, no.
Does
it
these
seems
seem to have more food on the feet of the tentacles as well?
it's quite hard to tell. Bearing in mind these chrysalids probably hatched well over a month ago. So, what remained of the matter is goo and bone.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna spend my time picking through goo and bones.
No.
No.
but yeah, as you get onto lower storage, you
Uh,
just
Pause there for a moment, please. On the upper storage, what's actually in the storage?
there's not really much. It just seems to be a reserve storage area.
No, I mean there's no ore or any shipments or anything going out. No.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Okay.
As I said, there are bits and pieces here and there, like broken mining equipment, empty containers, stuff like that. There's one part of it has a bunch of now gone off food. What was gone off food supplies.
Hmm?
It seems mostly like the day-to-day running stuff, as opposed to the actual shipment of ores. It seems deeper storage is the actual shipment of ores.
Okay.
So as you... any other questions before I move you on?
No.
Okay, cool. So as you move on to deeper storage, you first walk onto the catwalks above it. And you can see that you glance around, and you can actually see in the back of one of the areas, they've dug a massive chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's smashed into the wall, sort of thing.
What within the storage room, they smashed the wall and dug
Yes.
in some sort of cave.
Correct.
Oh, so they found more of that crystal stuff.
Maybe.
Brilliant.
Quite possible.
Do you want to check out the cave?
Again, you're using this term
This
want
is
very
want.
freely.
For a measure of want, yes.
Okay. Are you going to check out the cave, or are you just going
Yes.
to like run away?
Well, it is our job, I would assume,
Yeah.
so...
Mhm.
I really need to read the fine print of that fucking contract.
Fine print, you're fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, you peer in. You don't need to peer in much to see there is a large chrysalid here. This chrysalid seems to be in much more bodies, maybe 20 to 30. And the other thing that is strange about this chrysalid is that there is a large crystal at what is the head of it. Multiple black tendrils come off the chrysalid into it, but this is the 8-foot by 4-foot crystal you have seen drawings of. This chrysalid seems to also, this chrysalid, the food stuff seems to be nearing completion. Like, mostly drained. There aren't many tentacles left. It's
Oh.
pulsing, but it's pulsing
Oh.
much more regularly than the other one.
Mummy is waking up.
Yeah, and has been feasting on pure warp juice for throne knows how long.
Well, not only pure warp juice, there were quite a number of corpses also.
Yeah. But way more than the little friends further up.
As you look, you spot there are actually weapons among these. Appears to be laskins and shotguns.
Oh.
I think
Yep.
that answers the question where the trader went.
Mhm. Yes, it does. Well, let us try and find as much explosives as we can.
All yours. I'm gonna make sure that nothing sneaks up on us. I like the smoke.
You want to stay right here and watch if that thing is starting to hatch?
I thought you wanted to go and dig inside the tendrils and see if you can find some explosives. I did not volunteer myself for that little operation.
No, I was quite sure.
I volunteered you for that little operation.
Yeah, I guess as much.
I love this dynamic.
Hmm. Well, I really dislike the idea myself, but I would dislike it much more if that thing actually hatches. So
Okay.
yes, I will try and search the corpse first.
Now, I'm going to actually give me a trade morticianer roll to dissect the corpses without disturbing the tendrils. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to use that.
Yeah. Do I get any modifiers on that?
Do you have Medicare?
I do not.
Do you have anything that would give you modifiers? Anything you think of that would, give you a better chance of doing this?
Lore beasts, I do have.
I'll give you a +5 for that.
Scrutiny, maybe? Survivor?
Survival, I'll give you a +5 for that as well.
Mm.
Trade cook?
Nope.
Well, no,
That's
like,
so wrong, dude. That's so wrong on so fucking many levels.
I find it hilarious.
yeah, no, but like, a cook would have good knife skills.
Yeah. Forbidden Lore mutants, maybe?
+5 for that, yeah.
So plus 15 total?
You really need to get like some mortician's tools. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I should. I succeed. With 3 degrees.
It takes you a bit of time, and a few times the cocoon, everyone holds their breath as the cocoon does a particularly large pulse, and everyone thinks it's is it gonna hatch? Is it hatching? But it doesn't seem to.
Okay.
You carefully pick through the remains, and you eventually pull out 3 dead packs.
I deposit some. Well, I will try and blow up the cocoon. Basically, one near the base, one near the crystal. Or
Did
two.
you have tech use?
Unfortunately, I do not.
No. Did we have a tech priest with us? Oh yes, we did.
Not technically a tech priest, but the daughter of a tech priest, yes.
Not technically a tech priest.
Trained with
This little wonderful mutant managed to pilfer some death packs. Would you care to put them to good use and blow that abomination to the fucking warp where it belongs?
Oh, sorry, you meant that, not yourself. Okay, right, I'll go do that.
Quiet. This time round.
But yeah, no, she will creep up slowly. She keeps her... seems to have some sort of unusual pattern of blast gun for her weapon. She keeps it trained on the thing. She will...
Can you rig them for remote detonation? We still need to find the rest of the explosives.
I I was going to do that because I don't particularly want to be next to it when it blows up.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, if you want to manually detonate it, you're more than welcome to, you jackass. But no,
Lord jackass to you.
just flips you off. Yeah, so she will. Where do you want them to be placed, Greg?
I would say one near base of the cocoon. Basically, they are direct shaped charges, right?
Yeah.
So basically, so it goes upward, and at least one at the crystal itself, or maybe started two on the crystal itself.
Like this is a rough drawing of what the cocooning crystal is. This crystal should be a bit smaller, but
Where is this rough drawing? There. Oh, okay.
yeah.
So
It is kind of like partly in the crystal. The cocoon is partly wrapped around the crystal. So.
yeah. So one.
I take a selfie now that they're putting up the explosives and shit.
There's just a tech priest flipping you off in the background.
Yeah. So
Perfect team dynamics.
yeah. Reddish is the cocoon, right?
Yes.
So one dead pack, if that is possible, in this area.
Yep.
One here, and one there.
I assume that exploded exploded direction that way.
Yep.
Exploded direction that way. Exploded direction that way.
Indeed.
She does that. Yeah, no, she takes your directions because you seem to actually know roughly what this is, and she's like, I'm just a tech, like.
Yeah. I don't exactly know what it is, but I'd be fine if it blows up.
Yeah, no, she does her best to do that. The one underneath is a bit awkward because she can't get underneath the egg, but she puts it sort of so it will try and separate the crystal.
Darling, use your freaking tentacles.
She doesn't have any tentacles.
She doesn't have tentacles.
No,
Oh,
she's not
I
an
thought-
actual tech priest.
Oh, my bad.
She's the daughter of a tech priest.
The picture on the right, not the one on the left.
Oh, okay.
This one's Arix. Arix
Yeah.
would just tank all the damage.
Would tank all the, hug the explosives, put them on his chest,
Yeah, no, like
hug the thing.
Arix has power armor.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Jenny is the tech priest which you have. So not really a tech priest, but
Tech adapt.
yeah,
Adept.
yeah. Tech adept is probably a better term, although she's far more qualified than a tech adept.
Well, I mean,
In like actually knowing stuff.
tech priest in training, basically.
Yeah, she's a very weird, unique subject because also
Yeah,
she was a clone.
Yeah.
Now, for optimal, like looking for the explosives, maybe you, the sheriff and the deputies could fan out in one direction and we can take the other and see if we can find something to blow this place to hell. Unless you have any objections, lawman.
No.
I mean, yeah.
And
No.
I think it's proper for me to say I told you so at this point.
Well,
Jenny chimes in, and I told you you're a jackass.
Lord Jackass, if you may.
I don't, so tough. But yeah.
We fan out and look for the rest of the mining charges.
yeah.
Yeah, as you near the supply elevator on this level, you the access. You can see exactly where the traders arrived, because they're all dead. Oh well, you can see a massive gunfight, and you can see. Actually, no, the closest, but you can see where there were bodies, but they have been moved.
They have been dragged away and probably to the mother lode.
There's a few weapons, mostly the most obvious things is discarded ammo clips and like bits of armor, stuff like that. No actual bodies. Yeah.
Is there anything in the elevator? Like there's stuff? I assume.
No, because you rode down on it.
Huh?
It's the same shaft.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I mean outside of it, where they were planning to establish base camp or what the fuck ever.
No, there doesn't seem to be. But as you, if you actually like look around a little, which I imagine you do actually spot like a silver skull that seems to have taken a shot in the fighting.
I pick it up and toss it to the adept. Maybe you can masturbate to this for a while. And I throw her the skull.
If I didn't actually need the information...
Did I just understood you right?
She goes, if I didn't actually need the information off this, I would just hurl it back at you. She works her tech priest magic, and after a few minutes, she has a data state hooked up to it. It's got some footage still usable on it. Starts playing through it. It shows a part. So it starts off them arriving at the mine. There's a few vehicles that they park up outside before they head in. They don't seem to. They seem to. They did the same thing as you guys did, although they didn't run into the clerk. They just got auxiliary power back on and then headed downstairs. They headed straight for this level. When they got out, they started talking a bit, like looking around, like, "Wow, what the hell's going on? Where is everyone?" Blah 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 blah. Then there's like a creature, and the looming shape of one of those things comes out of the darkness, and everyone starts opening fire. Before anyone can get into the elevator, you see that one of the members actually runs back into it, a tech priest. He hits the elevator door before any of the others can get into it.
Why does this seem entirely eerily familiar? This discussions of where are the corpses, the firing on a threat from the darkness. And then I cast a hard glance at our little tech priest and goes, only the last part is now missing, and slightly smile at it.
Don't worry. I'd make sure the others are in the elevator before I ran away from you.
So, leave the monster with the other monsters. How poetic of you.
But yeah, this group seems were attacked by cultists as well. In the cultist attack, most of them seem to be like the deranged clerk upstairs. One of them actually hits the service goal, which is why it was damaged. But yeah, you can see that the creatures drag the bodies off. This time, despite it being hit, it was still working.
So where did the tech priest go off?
Probably to the Mechanicus shrine.
Oh. Well, aren't we lucky that we have somebody that can go inside the shrine? And not
You mean
these...
utilities?
Huh?
Utilities. That would be the Mechanicus shrine location.
Well,
Just the
yes,
closest.
but anybody that's not a Mechanicus robed person going in there...
Did the elevator? I don't know how the elevator shaft on this level is built. Is it like an open one, or is it walled
Yeah.
off?
It's the open sort. It's like a
Okay.
big. It's like one of the big cargo elevators.
Did we see if the elevator moved up or down? When did
In this
actually
shop?
come in?
It looked like it went down. It was hard to tell.
Okay.
So wait, he went down?
He went down to the utilities, which is the most tech priesty, tech shriny thing around.
Well,
I mean, he did look kind of panicked and was screaming.
I mean,
And there was
yeah,
also screaming and shooting, so...
Well, I'm not faulting him, like... Well, yes.
it is perfectly understandable that he was panicking, and well, we aren't getting up without going down first, because we need the main power.
Why do we require the main power?
Because the cargo elevator is blocked, or probably in the process of being ripped apart, and the personal elevator is operated out of the main power.
Why would... I don't follow. Why would the cargo
To get
elevator-
out here.
The cargo elevator has a big scary thing on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes!
And it's probably in the process of being ripped apart.
Quite... Yeah, now I follow. Aha.
You can you can hear like clawing and scratching from the elevator shaft high up.
Yeah. Well, down
Well.
is it.
Oh, by the throne, okay? Let's move.
I mean, there are no more explosives here, right?
Nope.
Or nothing that we could use.
Not as far as you're aware.
Hmm?
I mean, there's mining equipment if you want to just like drill a hole out of it.
That would sort of be counterproductive, making like
Yeah.
more holes, so...
Exactly, we want to make less holes.
I don't know.
Hmm?
You might just want to nope out of here more.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have, like, trade miner or lore
Yep.
mining, so I mean, me using mining equipment will end up in some sort of hilarious disaster.
Yeah. You would quite enjoy it if it was someone else, but
Yeah. No.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you're moving
no.
down. You can easily move down from here because you've got the elevator shaft. The the cargo elevator does stop on utilities, despite the fact it doesn't really have a use on there. It's mostly, it goes down to the mining level, which passes
Yeah.
utilities. So you climb down, get off on utilities.
Mhm.
This is eerily quiet.
Mhm. Creepy whistling does not help.
Why not?
I mean, it does help set the scene, but if Julian is creepily whistling in character,
I might be.
I totally see that happening.
huh? Yeah,
I'm just creating a mood.
there is more than enough mood already. Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to be creeped out, I can put the casino music on.
yeah.
That weird casino music.
That's just what's missing.
But no, so yeah,
Mhm.
you're on utilities.
Yes.
Well,
Utilities has water processing, power, all the sorts of goodies.
well, power should be our first station, right?
So you move through the level. You encounter nothing. A few times you jump at the whispers and
Mhm.
decaying of pipes in the background.
Mhm.
Eventually, you reach the power, the main reactor,
Mhm.
and you find the and as you enter, it's completely dark. There's a console in the middle. The Magus' daughter starts to work on it. That is when you hear a noise. nearby. Like somebody's knocked something over. It's much closer than the others. It's not like acidic dripping.
I look around and point my bolt pistol and my stab light.
Yeah.
No, I'm human. Don't shoot me.
Who are you?
Member of the Upscatters.
He might be lying.
You see, he's got a red robe.
Oh.
And a
Anybody
mechadendrous.
can... Oh, okay. That,
Like,
that
he
sort
steps
of
out.
seals the deal.
Yeah, he steps out. You recognize him from the recording.
Mm-hmm. Ah, so
I bow slightly. Venerable Magos.
I'm just a tech priest. I'm just an engineer, not high ranking. But wait, who are you lot?
Oh, we've come to blow up the mine.
Oh,
We are the demolition party.
oh yes, that sounds a very good idea.
Where are all the explosives? Some not so kind-hearted soul apparently thought it would be a prudent idea to move them from their storage.
I don't know. I've been accessing various systems by keeping the reactor on minimal power. I managed to pick up some of the recordings before they were all destroyed. All the cameras destroyed. I think they used some of them in the mines themselves to make new chambers. I'm not sure. I know some of them were used in the deep storage area. I think for a new cave. I don't know.
Yes, we saw it, unfortunately.
I'm not particularly brave enough to go up again. There's these big scary things. Like
Oh,
8
we
foot
know.
tall. Oh,
we've
okay.
seen them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I just ran away from them.
We are
Perhaps the Omnissiah can forgive you this tiny indiscretion.
He thinks from well, I've got one demo charge left. Would that help?
Not particularly. Take out both elevators somehow.
He thinks for a moment. I think there is. I think the main mining chamber. I think there's a large container of them there.
Also, according to our maths, there is at least 30 of these monsters roaming around. So going down to the main mining chamber might prove to be quite an adventure.
They seem to like lower storage a lot. I think there's not many in the mines themselves. They like residents as well. I think they're massing for something.
Oh, that's probably their mummy that's being born.
Yeah.
He whimpers slightly. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Since-
down it is. Could you
Yeah.
perhaps flip on the power so we could take the fucking elevator down?
Oh, yes, very well. He goes over to the
Do
console.
whatever rites you must administer to soothe the machine spirits.
He goes over to the console, looks very confused at the Magis's daughter, Jenny. She's like, look, just don't question. And he's like, oh, very well, and starts helping her. Maybe half an hour later, there is a as power comes back on, lights flicker on. A number of them are broken, and a few of them like pop as soon as they come back on, but most of the lights come back on. You hear other utilities coming on as well.
Finally, toilets. I go to the nearest toilet.
I
Gigantic dump.
I audibly sniff.
The plumbing hasn't worked for about 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I'm not gonna die shitting my pants. There is no dignity in that.
basically, when you were finally toilet, I was like, yeah, has he already? Okay. But yes, down is it. After you've taken care of that business.
Jeez.
I
So,
rip a fat line on the toilet.
okay. So you head down. You enter the sort of main mining level, and you can see the container of explosives, just like a trolley of them. How would you wish to get them out? The easiest way would be the cargo elevator. The trolley itself won't fit on the personnel elevator. It's too small.
Well,
How much explosives are we talking about?
A lot. Maybe 40, 50 tube charges.
No, it's not nothing. I mean, like, we're talking.
They're like sticks of dynamite.
Ah, okay. Well, that's nothing actually.
Is it?
yeah.
No, I mean, when we're talking about this scale of demolitions, it's hundreds of kilos.
There's a few. Okay, then there's a few carts of like 50, like with 50 each.
Basically, if we were to try and load it all on the personnel elevator, it would be overloaded.
I mean, it's already a tight squeeze with like you four plus the Majesty's daughter, the priest, the deputies, the marshal, the doctor,
Yeah.
the crazy tech priest. No, not the crazy tech priest. The mentally unstable tech priest. He's not crazy, but he's.
But we
certainly
can
not-
actually. How much do we need? Is the question, I think.
Yeah.
You don't need as much as you're thinking because you only need to destroy 2 elevator shafts.
Yep.
There is something else you haven't considered yet,
Uh-huh.
which would hinder progress even more. It wouldn't necessarily prevent. It wouldn't seal the elevator shafts, but it would definitely do damage to the mine itself as a whole.
And what
And
would that be?
that would be.
Destroying the reactor.
Oh, but we don't want to do that
Why not?
because the entire idea is that some other unlucky team can come in here and finish what we started.
I mean, there is a point to it. It would destabilize a lot of the mine. It would probably seal off the actual digging area. And I mean,
Likely kill.
they will need a breaching drill or mining drill to get in there anyways if we collapse the elevator shaft properly.
Oh yes, I mean, it's not my mine, so I don't really care one way or the other.
I mean, yeah, preserving the living quarters and stuff would be good, but the Inquisition would have to live somewhere else regardless, because they're not going to live in somewhere which is covered in, like, dead bodies.
Yeah. So
And this is the sort of operation where having additional, being able to set up a forward base is probably, like, something they'll do on the surface. They're not going to live down here.
Yeah.
So,
yes, Rigseg reactor to explode. And I'm not sure what kind of reactor it even is, so I would leave
Last
that
one,
to
probably.
yeah.
the two tech priests.
Mhm.
If they
I mean, it could be geothermal, so we could fill this entire place with lava. That would also be quite suitable.
Mm,
It is unfortunately not geothermal.
You can't have everything.
Yeah, I mean a plasma reactor makes pretty big boom
Yeah.
in itself.
I think it's. I know the sort I'm thinking of. There's like ionized rods, which is effectively like a sort of plasma reactor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean those? Yeah, the isotropic. what the hell
That's
are
the
they
one.
called?
The isotropic rods.
Yes,
Okay.
It's
But
one of
that-
those.
but
Okay.
it's just one rod. I don't know if you can make it blow up.
It's a
I mean,
multiple rod array
Okay.
because it's a mining operation, so it needs a lot of power.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
So
But those are holy relics from the dark age of technology.
are they?
Yes. And
Oh.
I think our current tech priest might sort of object if you want to
Oh,
blow
then
those
it's
up.
not those.
He can stay down here with some if he prefers that.
It's just a plasma reactor then. Sorry, I thought isotopic rods were like something different. I thought they were like used
No,
in
they're
batteries.
quite rare. They,
Okay.
they are, but they're really hard to manufacture, and I'm not quite sure. I think they are Archaeotech.
I didn't think they were, so that's why.
Well, you're
Okay,
the
yeah.
GM, dude. Your call.
No, these are like, they're not necessarily Archaeotech ones. They're like cheap knockoff ones.
Okay,
They're like
Fair
made in
enough.
Taiwan land.
fair enough. In that case,
Like, they're not using Archaeotech in like some remote mine in the middle of bumfuck
Yeah.
nowhere.
well, most of the stuff you have is semi-Archaeotech anyway.
Yeah, but it's just like a cheap. It's just a plasma reactor. It's nothing unique or special.
Okay.
Okay.
So say you probably don't even need explosives to rig it to explode.
Well, we
No.
could be thorough and do both.
Yes.
I mean, you
I'm-
also need to use the elevator for a bit, so you do need it to be working for a while.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The Magus' daughter suggests blowing up the coolant on a remote timer, so that it will overheat and then detonate that way.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm sold on that plan.
Yeah.
She will use the det pack because it's easier to remote detonate that than it is to. She's already
These-
set up 3.
This deal was closed in record time when I was involved.
Mhm.
But yeah, they rig it up. You've got like a fair bit of. You can get a fair bit of explosives on foot, like just carrying them in backpacks and such. So
Okay.
Yeah, that should be enough.
Mhm.
And that's what we do.
the plasma. You suspect the plasma reactor will do the most damage, destroying most of the mining level itself. The demo packs can, not demo packs. The tube charges can be used to destroy the building on the surface,
Yeah.
or the elevator stuff.
Yeah, the elevators. And then we put everything on the same circuit, so mummy blows up at the same time when we rig everything to blow.
So as you get into the person elevator, you hear an ungodly scream from from deep storage. It sounds deeper than the scream you heard before,
Oh, yeah.
and much louder.
Oh, yes.
That is unfortunate.
Can you press
I
the
mean-
button now, please? For that.
The tech priest is like slamming his finger on the button. Go, 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 go. I'm doing the rite of noping now. Nope out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the elevator clatters up. You hear the screaming, the yells of it from below. You get to the surface.
Ooh.
The Magus' daughter smiles as she presses the button. The surface building crumples and then collapses as you hear rumbles from below. Even before the surface building has completely collapsed, you can feel like an earthquake as the plasma reactor quickly overheats from lacking coolant and detonating. The surface building collapses. You've somehow not gotten anyone killed.
That's we need to rectify
Victory in
that
my
part.
book.
Actually, no, the deputies and the doctor, they tragically died.
How?
Yeah.
Well, a bolt pistol to the back of the head, type of tragically, suicided and stuff. We can't have them, witnessing to all of this shit.
Okay,
That
so you,
we?
seems excessive. But
We're the Inquisition, dude,
yes.
and they saw stuff that they are A, supposed to see, or B, no, they are not definitely supposed to see this shit and talk to this about this to their friends.
I mean,
A or B.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just arrest them.
What? No. We're the
We
Inquisition.
do
don't
have an arbiter.
That's true. Oh, I like executing people. It's
You
one
already
of my
execute-
hobbies.
You did get
Yeah.
to execute someone.
I know, but it's just one. It just whets your appetite.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so you arrest the survivors, and they'll probably die in interrogation.
Yeah, awesome. No, I mean tragic. Really tragic.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Interrogation. Oh, what a shame.
That
But yeah,
just happens.
And yeah, I think that concludes this little story.
Oh,
Yeah.
small side note. While we're still on planet, I forge documents that I bought the mines.
Okay.
Because
No
we
one
had
can really
that-
object, because everyone involved in it is already dead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm not quite sure if any one of the people that could claim mine wants it at this point.
Well, no, it's merely so that we have a legal facade to, shoot anybody that actually goes to this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Might
I
also
don't-
be a good idea to have the priest like ward the house.
I guess, and then I hire for some private security contractors to actually do that, shoot anybody that comes here that's not authorized.
Well, when you return to the ship,
Mm-hmm.
I assume you debrief on with Eric's.
Yeah.
Yep.
She makes a few. She's like very well. Leaves. A few hours later, she comes back. I've sent a few messages with the astropath. The Imperial Navy will move in to blockade the planets, which will allow us to use as a cover to blockade the mine. It's a mining planet. It's currently unaffected by the war, and a little tip off here, and getting the Inquisition involved is nothing to securing whatever the fuck that one nonsense was. Do you still have the crystal samples?
Yes.
Quite, and we also have the documentation here. I show my picked cap device.
She will take it from you and hand you a new one
Mm-hmm.
of equal quality.
Yeah.
Mostly probably from your own reserves. Like,
Thank you. Oh joy. You give me something I already own. How generous of you.
Emperor provides.
Emperor provides, etc.
Exactly.
Do you want to piss off the crazy tech priest in power up?
No, I'll hard pass on that one.
One of the few people who was able to stand up to the murder servitors. Which PCs who were in that campaign at that time will know are terrifying.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yep,
how
yep.
did you find that? How did you
So-
guys find that?
Very interesting.
It's fun.
Like, that was completely off the cuff. I had no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was half expecting you to start pulling out mirrors and something. Shine mirrors everywhere, or use pick recorders.
I mean, picked recorders were used a lot.
No, that's fair enough. But like trying to see the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, no, I thought that it would be, better for my sanity not to see them as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It seems.
those yeah, I'm just those creatures were not going to be killable.
Yeah.
No, I sort of gathered as much.
Yeah.
There was sort of a vibe about that.
Yeah.
I mean, Yes. Now you can scratch that off your list. A situation where when a player goes, I open the door. Nope, I close the door.
I can't finish the description of the room because the player's already closed the door.
Yeah.
Nope. So much fuck it. Nope.
Yeah.
But that was really fun. I quite enjoyed that.
Good. Now we should like write down the assets. We stole a lot of reappropriated a lot of valuable things from the planet and also the people in the tubes. I think they should probably be questioned.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to note it down as itself. So you got the tubes. There were 4 people in total.
Was it 4? Wasn't it 5 maybe? 5? 4?
Was it 5?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Now it's 4.
5 rejected subjects. 1 possible. One possible subject. Actually, no, that was the other way around, wasn't it? And 2 assets, which were kidnapped people.
Question mark.
Probably kidnapped.
You got those. You
We got the mining. What's it called?
I don't know what you're
Permit?
thinking about.
The ownership
Oh yeah, the deed.
deed, genau. Indeed.
And also like fuck ton of plasma ammunition and what the hell not for their weird shit. So is our next target the Welswin's mental backup?
Yes, I would believe so.
Oh, finally, the delicious little weirdos.
Is that everything? I think that's everything.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. I will sort through that later.
Delicious little reptiles. Here I come. Get the mint sauce ready.
Well,
Awesome. I'm glad you're happy, Rach. I shall give everyone 200 XP for this session because you've finished an arc or a little story.
this is nice.
Well, not 30,000 XP. That seems excessive. Oops.
Yes. So who are people voting for?
I'm gonna vote for Grey.
I think I'll vote for Rachel.
I'm gonna vote for Rachel as well.
Oh, Rachel. Rachel, who are you going to vote for? So Gray and Rachel, you both get 50 XP
Yeah.
extra. I really enjoyed the dynamic between the mutants and the seneschal. Just like the constant back and forth.
Yeah.
But no, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I had some ideas for that, and I just kind of played off ear of like how you guys were reacting.
No,
You know, my character is not the bravest one, so going like diving head first into certain situations is a bit, above and beyond.
I watch way too much horror, which is why I can do that scaringly well.
Good horror gaming, and except for one cutscene, there was again no actual like gun violence as such.
Out of curiosity, I know this is going to be slower burn for XP, but when do we get any bonus XP for finishing these? When I think it's appropriate.
I mean, We sort of did. Normally we get 100 for a session,
Yeah.
and we got 200 this time.
Oh, I think she's talking about her like psyker stuff, or
You still get half the XP for your psychery stuff, so you're not trailing behind. As I said, honestly, I'd rather you guys spent XP on more interesting stuff to give you more skills, more opportunities, etc., etc. This is like, I didn't once get the turn tracker out for the combat. I didn't once have a battle map or anything like that, and I think this session ran really, really well.
yeah, I'm actually sort of used to running sessions like this. We rarely have battle maps, and if we do, they're like really shittily drawn on, regular paper with really squiggly lines going, okay, here's some boxes and here's a dot for you. You are behind the box.
Yeah.
Bad guys that way.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong, some sessions will have combats, but other sessions will have just, like, yeah, you can do combats, good luck not dying horribly to it.
Yeah. You can do combat, it's just an awfully bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be like in the previous times, because well, we saw what happened when he gave too much XP to the players. It was
I mean, you might get 500 XP if you do a really big lead, and I really enjoy the session on the Ark. Or you do something insanely amazing, like, like
something
if you,
cray.
like, yeah, if you like came to the system and like completely changed the war or something, like. You decided to, you know what, let's finish this war, infiltrated the main cultist the main guy's capital, and like killed all their command, like completely out of the blue. I'd be like, yeah, no, sure, you can have 500 experience for that, because it's amazing. And it's completely throwing me off course, and like, I have nothing planned for it, but...
Yeah.
Well, I think a very good example of that was I used to GM, like, with my real-life friends, not over the internet, Rogue Trader for many years. And then after a lot of, like, this was maybe on year 2 or something, so they had a lot of shit, and they had run into a certain species of Xenos before. And then I explained that you find this planet, it's in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you see one of these gigantic crashed ships on the surface, and then there's the entire city built around it, and the locals are, working on it to build it up to spec again. And then the guys just look at each other and go, "Fuck no, we nuked the shit out of this place." And then they drop 4 nukes on it and fuck off. Like, okay, I had like 8 games planned for you guys down on the surface, but this is a solution.
Yeah, I like that you went, hang on a sec, why are we going into this particular mine to get the explosives? Why can't we just buy them from another mine?
Yeah, that's how I would have actually solved the entire thing if it was up to me.
Like, I'm totally fine for you guys going, yeah, let's not be suicidal and go into the mine of doom crystals. Let's just go buy explosives from somewhere else and blow the place up.
That would be the Julian solution, yes. Yeah, but Rachel, actually, psi rating doesn't really knock your knickers off that hard.
Yeah.
It's okay, you need to have a certain requisite to buy certain psi powers, but in general, it's kind of meh.
I mean, Rach, you've got like 1,500 XP to spend on psi stuff, on top of 3,000 XP to spend on.
And to be fair, I think you should look into the first edition and ask nicely from Deadlight if you could get some of those powers translated over. Because second edition is horrible garbage to psychers.
Yes.
Yeah, no, if you want to have a look at first edition for stuff, I'm more than willing to translate stuff across. I already translated a bunch of stuff because other people have asked nicely. Serene, I had translated the cyber animals for, because cyber animals.
Yeah.
And then he never used them because he got his dog killed and his character killed as well. Oh yeah, I know. But like, treat this more as a roleplay thing, like Emus, where we do more roleplay stuff than normal stuff.
Yeah.
How long is the transfer from this place to the place with potentially delicious lizard people?
I don't know, because I'm not particularly versed on warp travel.
Oh, warp travel is sort of a GM fiat. It's anything from 2 minutes to 4,000 years in plus minus.
Potentially consistent people.
Yes, potentially delicious lizard people. I haven't tasted them yet. How would I know?
2 to 3 weeks, maybe? 2 to 3 weeks sounds reasonable.
Okay. So I have like 400 XP. What could I have possibly learned during this time? Absolutely nothing useful.
I mean, trade miner, clearly.
No, hell no. That's actually physical labor. Are you insane? Trade overseer.
Trade what?
Trade overseer. I mean, somebody needs to do the mining and other people need to do the overseeing.
Well, anyway, I will end my stream here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I shall see you next week. Bye.